Welcome to Beach Party Radio, bringing you the best music and interviews of Carolina beach music artists from North and South Carolina and along the Grand Strand of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You can find us on the web at beachpartyradio.com and on Facebook and Twitter at Beach Party Radio. Now, here's your host, DJ Delta Dawn.
Hello, hello. It is Beach Party Radio, and yes, I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn. So glad to be with you this evening, and I tell you, I'm pumped up. This is our latest show and our newest show and our installment of shows that we have under our family of shows, Beach Party Radio. I'm so excited because this show is so near and dear to my heart because, having grown up in the South and been a, beach music fan pretty much my whole life and just, a Carolina Beach girl on top of that, this show is it's going to be really exciting, not only for me, but we're bringing a lot of great music to those of you out there who may have never heard of beach music or don't know what beach music is. But I'm telling you, it's a genre and a style of music that you absolutely can't help but fall in love with. And tonight, I'm so excited because I have a couple guys from a band that they've been around for a little while. And as far as the beach music scene, they have been on it and they've done some tremendous things. And let me give you a little bit of an idea. As of this year, they will have been in the business 22 years. I mean, folks, that's pretty impressive. And that means, in the 22 years they've been together as a band, they have played nearly 2,200 shows, and they are just phenomenal. If you've never seen them perform, and if you live in other parts of the country, you need to go to YouTube and look up this band, and I'm going to tell you who they are in just a moment. But currently, they have come out with a single that was just released, in early May, and the single is called All I Want to Do Is Dance, and I featured it on our show on Saturday night, and man, it is hot. It's so hot, in fact, that some of the local beach stations that are pretty big for this area, it is, up to like number 13, 12, 13, somewhere in there. It's climbing the charts on a lot of the different beach music charts, and it's going to be number one. I fully predict that it's going to be number one because it is that good, and we will be playing it a little bit later in the show. But I would like to introduce to you tonight Steve and Rick from Much Sylvia. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Delta Dawn.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Very good, very good. Thanks for having us on.
Well, thank you for being our guest tonight. I was telling Steve, Rick, before the show went live, I said it's so nice to talk to someone on air that doesn't ask, now, where are you from again? Because you guys, are based here in the state of North Carolina. It's so cool to talk to, kind of some of my own here. And I'm just so excited about this show, and I'm honored that you guys were available to be on the show tonight. So thank you so very much. It's quite a pleasure. Well, as I was saying in the intro, wow, 22 years this year. Congratulations. That is no small feat as a band. So I'm sure in 22 years you guys have experienced a lot of different things. You've done a lot of different things. And I guess the best way to get started is just to ask you guys, how did you come to be as a band, Much Sylvia?
Steve, you want to start that one?
Well, we all, at one point in time in our lives, played for a living. And they had all played full-time and played all over the eastern half of the United States. And we're friends with each other, or at least acquaintances with each other. And when our full-time playing days were kind of behind us, we wanted something to do on the weekends, and we started up this band.
And the rest is history, as they say. And I want to tell you, I love your music. I've always loved your music, and it's just always been so well received by the crowd. You guys are one of these bands that gets out there on stage, no matter where you are, and the crowd just goes ballistic. They love you guys. And talk a little bit about your, I guess the chemistry and the magic that you have as a band, because first of all, to be together for 22 years is no small feat, and that is quite an accomplishment. But to be able to go out time and again and just please your crowd the way you do. That's quite impressive as well.
We've been very blessed to do this. The song naturally has changed through the 22 years. We started out playing a lot of things that we wanted to play, and lots of the older beach music. But the market has changed quite a bit through the years. The jobs that we've changed has allowed us to expand our music and play things from 50s and 60s all the way through today. I mean, the kids are having as bit of time with this music that we're playing as the older folks. So it's been an education for us too.
Yeah, and that is another thing I wanted to ask you is, it's really interesting because I remember, really, I got hooked on beach music probably around, right at the turn of the century, like the early 2000s, and it was just some really good stuff. But it was always so neat to me to see bands go out there and do updated remakes of old songs from like the 50s and 60s. And you guys have seen all the changes, in this genre. But when you guys started as a band, when you were playing professionally before that, were you playing in beach bands, or did you, when you came together as a band, just decided that was the style you wanted to do?
I think it was probably a sign of the times, as Steve alluded to earlier. In our bands during the 70s and 80s, Steve and I were probably more in the rock bands, and not necessarily, we weren't in the same band together, but toward the end of the 80s is when music really started changing as far as what the kids wanted. So we saw more of the rap come in, and the rock and roll was leaving. So it forced us to rethink some things, and of course, beach music had been around forever. Yeah, we had played around with it a little bit, but fortunately, we were able to kind of gravitate toward that music, which was fine with us because we were the same age as a lot of those folks, and just kind of fell into to playing a lot of beach music when we first started out. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Steve, are you with? Oh, we've lost Steve.
Oh, we lost.
I'm sorry, and we must have lost the call. So I don't know where you guys are, but we've had some horrible storms here in the Mebane area. So it's we had one roll through just right before, probably 10 minutes before showtime. So I was like, I hope the internet stays, the power doesn't go out. It was pretty crazy there for a while. So we lost Steve, but we'll just continue on, and when he comes back on the line, I'll just connect him back to us. How about that?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, the music was changing a lot, so we were too, and to fall into the beach music and try to get a new band noticed in the early 90s. That was a hard thing to do. So we had to try to do some different things.
Yeah, and it is interesting how far beach. I think we have Steve back. It is interesting how far beach music has come, because it's no longer just simply about the beach. It's a culmination of a lot of different musical styles that have a big band sound and really is well received, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I started this radio show, was because I feel like that for so long, even though a lot of you guys travel up and down the East Coast and you play in a lot of different places, it's the kind of music that really needs kind of a worldwide presence, and people need to know about it because it's some of the best music going out there. I mean, it's still good, it's fun. You can't help but be in a great mood when you're listening to it.
Yeah, it's just good, feel-good music, and the Carolinas. I mean, it's the Carolina sound. You go to different parts of America. You can go to New Orleans. You got your New Orleans sound. Macon, Georgia certainly had their heyday back in the 70s. With all the Southern rock and different areas of the country. But the Carolinas, this beach music sound. I mean, this is what we've adopted in our area, and it's been around here for a lot of years, and with the way that all the new artists and the current beach music artists are putting out music, it's going to be here for a long time to come.
Yeah, and let's talk about putting out music for a minute, because I know, like, I also do a lot of work with indie artists, and And, you know, in today's world, I mean, with all the social media avenues that people have, you know, you got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, I mean, the list goes on and on. There are so many different ways for artists to get out there and make their music and get it out so people can hear it. And do you see that kind of evolving on the beach music scene, too? Because it seems like there's a lot more hits, like original tunes that are coming out of the beach genre now than it used to be, even, say, 5-10 years ago.
There's more of an outlet now, for sure. Just like you said with the social media, if bands can now, you know, used to bands had to make an entire CD, you know, to get songs out, and then you have to get this CD in record stores and sell it on the jobs. But now, you know, so many of the bands that have home studios and really putting out some pretty good music, and they can put out a song at a time and release these things to the public, you know, via the social outlets and wind up getting some airplay. It's been good for everybody. It really has.
Yeah, it really is a win-win for all people. And it, you know, you guys have been in the business, I mean, for a long time, much longer than the 22 years you've been together as Much Sylvia. But what are some of the most, I guess, striking changes that you've seen in this industry through your time of just being part of it?
Steve, are you back?
Rick? Yeah, Rick, man, she's making us sound awful old, you know.
Oh, I'm probably right there with you, so don't be fooled.
Well, I think a lot of the I think a lot of the axiom, the more things change, the more they stay the same, kind of does apply a little bit, because I think you hit it a little while ago. Beach music is fun music, and though everything we play is not exactly beach music, it's all fun music. So the people that can relate, people that like beach music like fun music, and they like all kinds of fun. And I think that's always been the case.
That I love, you know? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that's always been the case, even back into the 60s, 70s, 80s, all the way through. That's what's kept such a loyal following going for the beach music genre, and why they're really a lot more open to different things than, I don't know, say a blues genre that just wants to hear straight blues, or a rock genre that just wants to hear straight rock. The beach music folks,
that's a very good
like
point.
Everything.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Definitely. And the other thing about that is I found that typically people that love beach music love to go out and see it live. They love to go, you know, to the clubs at Myrtle Beach and check out you guys and, you know, and go see their favorite artist, you know, there, because it's nothing like seeing it live. I mean, because it's not just you're out there playing your music. You're putting on a show, which is so entertaining and it's so energizing, and I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, beach music fans are so loyal, because they know, you know, they're going to get their money's worth, not only in the music, but in coming out to see you guys live. So it's like you said, it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Well, that's one of the things that keeps us going. Is it's fun for them, but it's fun for us too. I mean, the people are what make it fun, and we have a ton of fun. We have just as much fun as everybody else does when we go out and play.
Well, and I know you guys, in the years that you have been doing this, you've got stories. And what is kind of the most interesting or unusual fan experience you've ever had that I guess you can say on the radio?
Well, I don't know, Rick. What do you think?
You know, these are things that we see every night. I mean, we have a million of these things, and it almost becomes, well, wonder what's going to happen tonight. But it's to pick out one. Okay, we'll pick out one. We play this. We play Morganton.
Oh yeah.
We play a an after 5 up there yearly. It's called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And we're up there playing on stage, and my keyboard is set kind of at an angle. And one night I look up, and I see this guy out there that is having the time of his life. Loving it. This guy is like 50 years old. He has a mullet. He's a white guy that's tanned. He is wearing a sleeveless shirt and hot pants. And it's like, and you know what? This guy's having a blast. I can't help but see this guy because the angle of my keyboards, I'm looking straight out at him. So automatically we start picking with this guy and nickname him Legs. The guy's got, listen, the guy's got a beautiful set of legs. You can't help it. Well, this is hilarious. Where I'm going with this, we see this guy we didn't see him this year, something's going on this year, but we run into this guy every year, and he helps us create the show. We have so much fun with him. The people up there love him to death. I mean, it's just one of those things like, where's Legs tonight, you know?
Yeah. And that's interesting because, you know, probably because this has become a familiar thing when you play there, the fans have come to expect this as well, you know, which just kind of gives an added something to the show that they wouldn't get if they went elsewhere and saw you guys playing if you're performing in a different place. So I guess that's go ahead.
You won't see Legs anywhere except in Morganton, and please don't take this wrong that Steve and I are looking at guys' legs and thinking
no, not at all.
But,
not at all. But you know, I'm sure that's just one of the many stories. I mean, you guys, you know, I have a real good friend, and he's been in bands off and on his whole life, and you know the stories. I mean, the stories he's told me, it's amazing. You could write a book, you know, that would just be chocked full of hilarious things about fan encounters, you know, that fans have had. So that was a good one. Thank you for sharing that. Now, the one question that I have. Go ahead.
I said one thing we'll do with fans like that. We don't gloss over it. We embrace it and we incorporate it, you know, into what we're doing that night. And it's gotten to the point where, you know, every night that we go out, the people that come that night, they're getting their own show. You know, that show's not going to happen again. You know, it's a unique show that those people got for coming that night, and I think that's one thing that kind of helps us along a little bit, is trying to have something unique every night.
Oh yeah, and that keeps it interesting for you guys. I mean, as much as you love doing this, you know, when you're playing live, I mean, you know that no two shows are ever going to be alike. Even if you play the same venue 2 nights in a row, you're going to have different people and different experiences. The crowd's going to be different. I mean, there's so many different dynamics that you know it never gets boring, you know, for the fans or for you guys, and that's good. Now, one question that I have that I'm sure a lot of people, and you've probably been asked this a million times in the 22 years you've been together, but where does the name Too Much Sylvia come from? I mean, I'll just tell you what I think it means, and then you guys tell me if I'm spot on or if I'm off base. I think it has to do Too Much Sylvia. When I first heard the name 10 years ago, I was like, you know, Too Much Sylvia, one of those band members or either a friend of a band member had a little too much Sylvia at some point in their life. And the band just the name evolved. But, of course, that's just my funny take. But, seriously, how did the name come to be?
Well, close. Yeah, you're close. You know, back in the 80s, we all played in different bands. Steve played with a band called Diamonds. He also played with a band called the Vandals. Eddie was with me in Sugar Creek for a while. He also played the Fantastic Takers. John was with a group called the Outlaws, and he played with Captain Cook and the Coconuts. Point being is we all played Myrtle Beach. We all played down in the area in the 80s. There was a girl, a very pretty young lady that came around. Her name was Sylvia. I was going out with Sylvia for a while. and as we were putting together the band in the early 90s, the new band, we started talking about people we used to know. Sylvia's name kept coming up in our conversations. So I thought Sylvia liked me, but little did I know when Sugar Creek would leave town that Steve's band would be coming in, and Steve would be going out with Sylvia. And then Steve's group would leave the town, and the Shakers would come to town with Eddie, and guess who Eddie was seeing? It was.
Oh, boy.
So that's our story. We're sticking to it.
Well, and I have to ask the question that I know is just burning to ask. Have you seen Sylvia since? Does Sylvia know that you've named your band after her?
We don't know.
Steve called her and told her.
Well, okay then. And by the way,
we don't
Rick,
know, and we don't want to know. So.
Yeah, okay, I understand. We'll leave it right there. Now, Rick, you said that magic word, Sugar Creek. And I want to tell you, it wasn't until right now on air when you said Sugar Creek, you were with Sugar. I had no idea that you were with Sugar Creek beforehand. But I will tell you, I was an 80s girl. I grew up and loved the beach. But in all the years that I would come to the beach, I never got to see you guys perform. But I have many classmates who would frequent the beach on a regular basis just to see Sugar Creek at the Magic Attic. And the tales they would tell. That if that's telling you how old I am, okay? And so needless to say, that, you know, you guys, Sugar Creek was all the rage. I mean, it was a big deal back in my era of time. Just, you know, you were real big with some girls here in Alamance County, North Carolina, I can assure you.
Well, we had a great run. The Sugar Creek was together for 19 years, and certainly Steve came around in there quite a few times and sat in and jammed with us on stage at the Magic Attic. I mean, we had a good time. We had a good run with Sugar Creek, and when it was over, it was like, and it ended in '90 when Steve and I started talking about putting this band together. So. We even still have some of the road cases. Steve will tell you some of the people who still come up and say, "Oh, I still you got Sugar Creek on that road case." Yeah, the road case is still as old as we are, and we're still having fun with it.
Hey, look, you know, that's okay, because that's a part of your heritage as performers. And I'm just impressed that the two of you dated the same girl, didn't know it, but later became bandmates or have been in the same band together for 22 years. I mean, that's pretty good. So, you know, but the rule of thumb is that when guys tend to date the same person, they handle it a lot better than when two women date the same guy. So it's, you know, it kind of goes from there, and I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, that's fine. We won't comment on that either, will we, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. We'll walk to the next subject. So let's talk about this brand new song that you guys have got out, because I want to tell you, it's one of the best songs I've heard in a long time, and it is my personal favorite. It is my favorite beat song going right now, and I keep playing it. And then, if I'm not playing it, it's stuck in my head. Talk a little bit about how you know, did you have an inspiration for this song and how it kind of came about in terms of it becoming, I mean, it's a great dance tune, and it's going to be one of those songs that DJs are still going to be playing it 5-10 years from now, because it's just got that kind of appeal.
You know, I think any songwriter will probably tell you the same thing. A good song, or what you feel like is a good song, really happens pretty quick when you start the writing process, and that's what happened on this. It came together pretty quick. I mean, all the basic idea and the lyrics and all, they just kind of seemed to flow together. And when it took it into to Steve and Eddie to give it a listen for their input and with the melody and how to arrange the lyrics and all, I mean, this whole song came together pretty fast. So was it a complicated process? Not really. It just kind of seemed to flow and happen that way. Don, our drummer, I mean, he laid down the perfect, in my opinion, the perfect groove, the perfect drum. And when he heard what we were trying to do with it, he just said, "Oh, I know what we need to do." And if the drums make this thing feel good, and Steve singing a great vocal melody line. I mean, it just all came together. I don't know. It's one of those musical magic things, I guess. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's a great song.
I knew when we got done cutting the first tracks of it, and I got home from the studio that night, and I couldn't go to sleep because it was running. I couldn't get it out of my head. I said, "This is going to be a catchy song," you know.
See what I mean? That's exactly. I mean, it's like the first time I heard the song, I was just, as a matter of fact, the first time I heard it, which was before I started the show and contacted you guys, they were playing it here on our local radio station, Oldies and Beach 920 AM, and I caught like the last, minute and a half of it, and I was like, what in the world is the song? This is awesome. And then, it wasn't long I found out it was you guys, and I was like, it's just one of those songs when you first hear it, it just grabs you and from start to finish, and it is just a really good song that, like you say, it's catchy and it stays with you, and it just gets in your head and it won't leave, and that's not a bad thing. But it's a great song, and now I have to ask, do you guys have any other songs that are going to be forthcoming as the year continues to unfold, or are you just going to kind of promote this one for a little while?
We have a whole CD. I mean, the name of our CD is called 2MS, short for Much Sylvia, obviously. And it's got 13 songs on it. So I think you'll probably, with any luck at all, we'll certainly have a couple of songs that we'll release to radio from this CD, and we're pretty excited about it. It's a good CD. We worked hard on it. And this is the first one that we've actually, and this is only our third CD after 22 years, but we had more fun recording this one than we did our previous two. The guys were just more relaxed in the studio, and I think probably our material was maybe a little better. We always like to think it gets better, even though we're getting older. So, but it was fun, and I think it comes off on the entire CD. We recorded at two different studios, Traffic Sound over in Dallas. We did a lot of the songs over there, and also at Ken Hartzell's studio in Concord, which One Direction, and it just all blends together. So it's a good CD.
Well, I have no doubt. I mean, if the rest of the album sounds as good as the track that you've released, it's going to be phenomenal. I already know this, and I really believe that it is going to, the song, All I Want to Do Is Dance, is going to be up for a Grammy nomination. I really don't see how it couldn't be at some point because it is that good. And it needs to be. So I hope that it will be. I hope it wins awards. You guys are just great. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Now, you guys are going to be playing a few dates upcoming, like really quick, I think this week. Talk a little bit about where you're going to be so that people can get out to see you.
Steve, you got the calendar?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to be all over the place for the next 2 weeks, doing different 4th of July celebrations around. So all these jobs are open to the public for free, and a lot of them have fireworks. So we're going to see a lot of fireworks over the next 2 weeks.
Oh yes, you are.
We're going to be up in Faith, North Carolina tomorrow night. Up in Faith, it's part of their celebration. And then we're going to be over in Valdez, North Carolina, Friday night, part of their celebration. And then we're in Mount Pleasant on Saturday night. And then we're over in eastern North Carolina in Fairmont on Sunday night.
Wow.
So that's this week. And next week.
That's just this week.
That's just next week on Wednesday. We're in Cheraw, South Carolina, for their 4th of July. On the 4th, we're going to be here in the Charlotte area and out in Matthews in Stumptown Park, and then Friday actually we have a breather, and then Saturday we are. Where are we Saturday? We're in Oakboro. Yeah, they have a great festival out there around the 4th of July, and then on Sunday we're in Asheboro.
Oh, wow.
We're going to make the rounds over the next 2 weeks.
You guys get around. That's all I'm going to say. It began with Sylvia a long time ago, and look where you've ended up. No, I'm teasing. I'm totally teasing. That's just a real testament right there to how popular you are and how well received and how much in demand you are by your fans and just all over the place. And that's a good problem to have, you realize. So as long as they keep calling you to perform, it's a good thing. So, well, I'm excited, and I hope that sometime in the very near future I can get out to see you at one of these shows. I'm going to try to get back down to Myrtle at some point in the next few weeks. I'll be keeping a watch on your calendar to see where you'll be, and maybe I can try to get out and see you live and introduce myself in person and just see you guys perform. That would be really good. So hope to do that in the very near future. But
please do.
In the meantime, I wish you guys much continued success. Although I don't think you need it, you're already a success. But just, to keep doing what you're doing and keep making the fans happy, because obviously they are very happy to who have, kept you in this business for as long as you've been, and we're very glad about that.
We're very blessed, and thank you for taking the time with us. Delta Dawn.
Yep, that's right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time so much, Rick and Steven, and I look forward to much, much more Too Much Sylvia. You can never get too much Sylvia, in my opinion. So we definitely are excited for the new album, and we will be doing all we can here to play your music, promote it, and to help get the word out worldwide about you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care and have a great night, and enjoy performing over the next couple of weeks.
We will.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
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 All right, folks. We have been chatting with Too Much Sylvia, and if you would like to check them out, you can actually find them online, Too Much Sylvia, and that's TOOMuchSylvia.com, and go to their website. They've got a calendar of events. You can also, there's a link to where you can go and purchase their album. 2MS is what it's called, and it does have the latest release. All I Want to Do Is Dance on that. And you can find that at cdbaby.com. Just look for Too Much Sylvia, and you'll be able to find the album. So, and they also have a Facebook page. Let's not forget. You can find them on Facebook at Too Much Sylvia. So go follow them, like them. I don't think they have a Twitter, though, but that's okay. You can keep up with those guys. They are always constantly updating their Facebook page and their website, so you can stay up with what they're doing. So we want to thank them for being our special guest this evening. Boy, what a lot of fun that interview was, and who knew? That's why they named their band. Now we know. I love the backstories behind band names, because they're all different and there's always a story, and the stories are always so good. So I'm going to shut up talking, because I want to play this great song that it's just through the roof, and it's getting so much airplay in the Carolina Beach world, and it's going to be number one before we know it. It's just a matter of time. So here's Too Much Sylvia, and All I Want to Do Is Dance.
Love to get lost in the song and the crowd.
love that. All I want to do is dance. Too Much Sylvia. So, again, we want to thank them, the guys, Rick and Steve, for being our special guests this evening. We so enjoyed chatting with them. And so what a great, great group, and I hope that you will check them out. If you like that, please go to CD Baby. Search Too Much Sylvia. You'll find their latest album, 2MS, and it's got 13 tracks on it, full album. Buy it. Support them. These guys put a lot of time and energy and effort into what they do, and they deserve to be supported. So please show them the love. All right, that is going to wrap our show for this evening. And, again, thank you to Steve and Rick for being our special guests from Too Much Sylvia. And thank you to all of you for tuning in and joining us. If you're brand new to our program, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us, and we certainly hope that you'll be back. We will actually be back here on Saturday night with our Beach Party Blast, which will feature the music of Carolina beach music artists from North and South Carolina, and some of the best music. We had a really good premiere show last week, and so we invite you all back this week. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be spinning some tunes for about 2 hours, so hope that you can make time for that. And with that, I will say good night, take care all, and we'll see you right back here again on Saturday night.
You've been listening to Beach Party Radio on blogtalkradio.com, featuring all the best music and interviews of Carolina beach music artists from the Grand Strand of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and all along the eastern seaboard. You can find us on the web at beachpartyradio.com and on Facebook and Twitter at Beach Party Radio. Thank you for joining us.